both of these movies that came out this week were so Mission Impossible was a straight up sequel. Vacation is a
Reboot sequel.
It serves as a reboot and a sequel in a way, and we're starting to get quite a few of those lately, and a lot in the past, 5 to 10 years, and we have a lot more coming. So, I'm just curious. Let's start with you, Jake. Do you think there's an oversaturation with reboots, remakes, and sequels? And if there is, do you think it's a problem?
I think there's an oversaturation a little bit. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Obviously, some of them don't work out so well, and some of them do work well. But I think it's just Hollywood trying to go back to what has worked in the past, and sometimes it doesn't work out for the best. Vacation is obviously what's the word?
Well, it's an example of how
example
it can fail,
of
right?
fail. Yeah, there you go. But there have been reboot sequels, whatever you want to call it, in the past that have worked.
Definitely.
But it does suck that there isn't really any original ideas out there. And when there is, they don't do too well. I would like to see more of them, but even if the reboot sequels don't do well, we always have the original to go back to. So, and it doesn't change our view of the original just because the reboot sequel was bad. I think there's a little bit of oversaturation, but it's not necessarily a bad thing sometimes. So,
yeah. Can you think of any situations where it worked out very well, like maybe for a remake or a reboot? Or Gio, looks like you got something.
I have a couple examples of where it worked out very well. So remakes, The Departed.
Yeah, technically it's a remake.
I'll throw one out there real quick. Star Trek.
Oh yeah, there you go. See, that's perfect.
Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah, there you go.
It's a remake.
Yep.
That's true.
Dredd.
Yeah, critically yes, but it didn't do well financially.
Jurassic World.
There you go. See,
yeah.
There is examples where it worked out great.
And Jurassic World's a reboot, right?
Reboot sequel, really? Yeah, because it is.
It's the same thing as Vacation is because it's still continuing the story while rebooting the franchise.
Yeah.
So
how about Daredevil for Netflix? What is that?
That's considered a reboot.
Yeah,
that's a little different, but yeah, that works. Yeah. So it's not a problem. We get some good stuff out of it. But other than those examples, do you think there is a problem with this?
Yeah, and I think it lies in particular with comedy and horror, because those are so difficult to do. I just had a film in mind right now. You think about sequels alone, Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah.
You
make a great point. I can't think of
who asked for that.
A sequel or a horror or a sequel to a comedy or horror that has been good.
There was that
lately.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Trey Songz in there. Yeah, recently. I don't know.
Man.
And then the Poltergeist. We just recently saw.
It wasn't horrible.
But it wasn't,
It wasn't good, and it didn't. I don't think it did that well financially.
Right. But for me, I feel like it lies in the comedy and the drama.
Yeah,
like those two genres.
And it seems like it works out very well for action.
Right.
And blockbusters.
Mm-hmm. I said drama. I meant horror.
Oh,
horror,
okay.
Yeah. It's tough. What was that recent one? Nightmare on Elm Street with
Oh yeah.
With the guy.
I forget
from,
who was
Watchmen.
in it, but
it's the guy who plays Rorschach.
Yeah.
James Earl. James.
Wait, you're talking about the guy who plays Freddy?
Jackie Earl. Something. Yeah.
You guys know the guy. Yeah. But
Jackie Hill Earl or something like that.
Yeah. That wasn't what the studio hoped it would be.
Yeah, not at all.
So it just, it goes to show it's very tricky. There are some films that shouldn't be touched. There are other films that deserve a modern telling. I thought Vacation was one of those. Because it's a family film that you can retell in a new world, new families today.
And it wasn't it wasn't a bad movie.
No,
unfortunately, it's just not getting.
I don't think it was a bad
enough
movie.
box office.
Yeah.
They're not going to make a sequel.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
I don't
Maybe
know.
if it can make we don't know what the production budget
Well,
was.
did you heard? I don't know if you guys saw the news, but National Lampoon wants to reboot everything.
Oh,
They're,
really?
they're going to reboot their entire brand.
Wow.
So that means Animal House, Vacation, all that
Wow.
kind of stuff. So we could be seeing a lot more of this in the future, next couple years.
That's crazy, man.
Well, maybe they'll learn a thing or two from Vacation. You know. Like,
Why
to get
why aren't
on.
they attaching their name to the titles anymore?
I don't know if I don't think National Lampoon had anything to do with Vacation.
Oh,
I
really?
think is it Warner Brothers?
Warner.
I think was
Yeah,
in
Warner.
charge of
So
Vacation.
they owned the rights to it?
I'm pretty sure National
Wow.
Lampoon. I think National Lampoon is almost a production company. If I could be completely wrong.
That's crazy.
But
yeah, I know they're not necessarily their own big studio or nothing
yeah,
like that.
but it's
kinda
their
like,
brand basically.
Yeah. It's kind of like Legendary or something
Exactly,
like that. They're
yeah.
like a side production company.
Yeah. So I mean, it's possible to make a good remake or a reboot. You know, as evident by some of the films I named, and also 310 Yuma,
True Grit.
True Grit. Titanic was a remake from the 1956 film, right? But it
Well,
focused a little bit on
That and Scarface was a remake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Mhm.
And they're making another one,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
So you can do it. It's all about, you know, I mean, just, you know, the script, respecting, you know, and that kind of stuff. I mean, so
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a problem. I just think people maybe look at it the wrong way because yes, there are tons of reboots, remakes, and sequels coming out, but there's also a lot of original material coming out. People don't realize it because the reboots and remakes and sequels are all these blockbusters, and those aren't the only movies coming out, guys. There's a whole bunch of indie films. There's a lot of lower level films that come out every week that we don't necessarily pay that much attention to, and a lot of them are original ideas.
And all
So-
of them deserve your attention.
Exactly, they do. And the problem is that these reboots, remakes, and sequels are shoved in our face through TV, through the internet. Those are the movies that everyone's aware of. So it's easy to think that, oh, the only thing that comes out are reboots, remakes, and sequels. There's a lot of original material that comes out, especially in the second half of the year. That's very good quality. So I think people need to just dig a little deeper, and they can find a lot of original material. So I don't think it's a problem, and I don't think a lot of people that I talk to say, "Oh, you can't touch classics. You can't touch them," like Ben-Hur or Scarface or
Ben-Hur was a remake.
yeah, exactly. So, first of all, yeah, a lot of those are
Godfather,
remakes in the
yeah.
first place. Second of all, it doesn't take away from that original or that other iteration of it at all. You still have that movie. It doesn't ruin the quality of that original movie, not one bit. So, if you really don't want to see it, then just don't see the movie. And also, I think a lot of movies are due for a reintroduction to this generation. Just
to
like
a
you said,
modern
like,
audience, yeah.
like Vacation, or like, to be honest, I haven't seen the original Ben-Hur, or not the original, but I haven't seen the classic Ben-Hur. But I'm really looking forward to the new one coming out. It sounds very interesting, and because they're making a new one, I'm gonna go back and watch the classic one. So I
Classic's
think
good.
that's the
That's-
best
It's
thing
good.
that this does for movies, because
Good point.
it shows people like, hey, they're making this movie. There was an original. I'm gonna go back and watch that now. So it raises awareness of those first movies. I think so. I don't think it's a problem. I just think people need to look at it differently.
Good
you know?
point.
All right. Well, I
like
think
it.
that'll do it for our reboot and remakes discussion. Was there any other points you guys wanted to make on that?
I mean, if you guys feel differently, let us know in the comments. If you know of any reboots, remakes that didn't work for you, please let us know. We're interested to know your opinion. And I think you made a great point. It just, yeah, I mean, it's a hit or miss.
Yeah, definitely.
But it just all depends on how you approach it, your preparation, and how you execute.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We got a lot of them coming up, so we'll see how that works out.